Good morning, my beautiful friends. It's me, Post Malone, and it is indeed the snapshot day again. Except it's not. Not at all. Instead, we inch ever so closer to the release of Minecraft 1.20 with 1.20 pre-release 2. Let's talk about it. Our big adventure, the total tale of today's video, begins last week. Minecraft 1.20 pre-release 1. So when I was setting up for the video, I actually took note of this big change, and then I kind of completely forgot about it. I'm so sorry. How could I? Alongside a huge change that will change speedrunning forever, I also kind of forgot about this brand new death message right there. There's also one for being out of the world too. For the purpose of science, we begin today's video by creating a brand new fresh world with a random seed. We're gonna run a small experiment of sorts. Inside of our brand new world, the very first thing we're gonna do is get our hands on a little bit of gravel and a shovel. We flip over to survival Minecraft, we place some gravel down, and then we start mining the gravel. So we get gravel from that one. Interesting. We get gravel again. Then we get gravel again, and then we get gravel again. We're gonna repeat this process until we end up seeing flint from one of these blocks, which hopefully it doesn't take too long. And there we go. Boom. Just like that, we have flint. So, quick math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On our 8th one, we got a piece of flint. That should be like that every single time we make this world. Back over on the main menu, we will make this world again. We're going to use the same exact seed. We're just going to change the name. That's all. Inside of V2 of our science world, if this change works exactly how it should and it's not bugged, the 8th gravel that we mine here, so the very final one, is going to be... It was 9. The 9th gravel we mine is flint. This change is a very, very significant change that was made in last week's pre-release, and I don't think a single soul is realizing how big of a deal this change actually is. This will change speedrunning, and obviously worlds, but speedrunning forever. In the first snapshot for 1.20, loot table random sequences were made way less random. Everybody knows the basics of a Minecraft world. Every single Minecraft world can be different thanks to the seed numbers. There's like a million trillion different seeds. As of the second most recent snapshot, your world seed is now tied to the random loot sequence. That's gonna mean, I believe theoretically, if you go into a world and fish for the first time and you catch a fish, then every single time you fish in that world, you recreate it to try it again, you will always catch a fish the first time. Believe the same thing for the junk and the same thing for the treasure. Fishing is a great example of this because there is so much good loot inside of fishing. For example, let's say you created a brand new world, and this is the world. First things first, because of course, logically, you go and get a fishing rod. With that fishing rod, you go over to your local watering hole, and you go ahead and fish. Now, let's say theoretically, that first catch is like an overpowered enchanted book. As long as I'm interpreting all of this correctly, which I think I am, that's gonna mean every single time you fish for the first time in that world, you're gonna get a treasure. In a lot of cases, it went under the radar, but this is actually a super significant change. Depending on what side of the speedrunning community you're on, you're either going to love this change, or you're going to hate it. And to expand on this change even farther, the random loot sequence, it is tied to every single dimension as well. Inside of the nether, ooh, boy, that's a good spawn. It's dangerous, but it's good. Another great way to showcase the effects of last week's change comes in the form of piglin bartering. Let's say you go into the nether and you barter with a piglin. You barter with this thing, and the very first time you trade with it, you get yourself 11 ender pearls. Is actually pretty insane. However, no shade at all. Let's say that you're a little bit of a forgetful person. You forgot that you took 10 to 20 minutes to dive deep into the game's files and actually adjust the loot tables a little bit to be in your favor, all for a YouTube video of a speedrun. That could be pretty cool. You completely forgot that you essentially went and modified the game's files pretty heavily here. I mean, hey, it happens. Sometimes people forget. Well, if somebody else were to take my exact world seed and test this one out, then we would get the same exact bartering loot the first time. Easy fact check. You simply put, no shade. If you're a legit speedrunner, you love this change. If you're a forgetful speedrunner, you may not exactly love this one. Moving on, my friends, Minecraft 1.20 pre-release 2 comes with a total of approximately 52 bug fixes, including MC 1310. Oh my gosh. I don't know what the devs are doing here, but with Minecraft 1.20, we're just fixing essentially every bug that was first reported in 2012 when I was a mere 3 years old. Correction from last week. Oh man, dispenser boats and rafts get stuck inside of dispensers used to place them. Roll it. This is old footage, vintage footage from 1.20 pre-release number 1. When I'm releasing all of the boats right here, you can clearly see, clear as day, that I'm dropping boats into the blocks that they're meant to drop out of, not into. It's a big problem, and it's been a problem for like a million years. Actually, since boats were 100% trash. Now, if we go ahead and move this friend out of the way and go ahead and dispense another one, boom, you can see right there, it drops down, and I guess visually it's in the thing a little bit, but also it's really not. Look at that old footage again really quick. And then we'll go ahead and roll it one more time. That new footage, as you can see, again, visually, I guess it's inside of it, but bounding box-wise, oh, no, it's definitely not. You could say another one of Minecraft's oldest bugs has gone to Dallas in November. Minecraft 1.20, pre-release number 2, it makes a couple technical changes, and it also doesn't make a change that I thought it was going to make. In a world of technical changes, we have a change to text-to-speech, and we have a change to custom recipes that might be used in data packs. When setting up a custom recipe, you can now use item Minecraft Air to detonate an ingredient that will match an empty slot. However, this is not going to work in any of these recipes right here, which, logically speaking, that doesn't make sense. You can't put something empty in the smoker and get something, right? Instead, where this probably comes into play is a recipe like this one. Now, let's say your data pack wanted to actually make the spyglass cool and useful, but you wanted, like, I don't know, something else right there. In this example, let's say the pane block represents air block that represents something else that we'll actually put in here. Well, you could actually do that, as long as it's a crafting table recipe. I got some more vintage footage. William Howard, roll the clip. Alright, so check this out. This is footage again from 1.20 pre-release number 1. If you watch really closely when the baby sniffer is spawned in here, his head is tiny. We got a tiny headed baby sniffer, but then immediately, like really quickly there, its brain grows exponentially, and then the head gets a little bit bigger. Over inside of 1.20 pre-release number 2 with that exact same spawn egg. Check this out. It doesn't happen anymore. The baby sniffer's head, the snifflet's head, it's the right size from the very beginning. And while we're at it with the sniffer, inside of this week's snapshot, even more bug fixing has gone on with this thing. One particular bug that I noticed is that when you would try and breed 2 sniffers, sometimes, and I think I even got it in one of the snapshot videos, but sometimes they would just kind of ignore each other and keep looking for seeds or something. That bug has allegedly been fixed, and it shouldn't happen anymore. You go ahead and breed them, they're going to look at each other romantically, and then you will eventually find an egg on the ground. Previously, while one was tempting a baby sniffer, it would stand a little bit too far away from you. Now I guess it stands a little bit closer. You know, one resource pack that I always forget that exists is the Programmer Art resource pack. With Programmer Art textures enabled, we will get beautiful, vintage looking textures. It's kind of wonderful. However, there was, a big problem with Programmer Art textures and potions. Back a couple updates ago, when Dinnerbone moved these icons from this side behind the recipe book over to this side, well, I guess the Programmer Art texture pack, it was forgotten. And that is a beautiful icon. I kind of love that more. That's fire. That makes me wonder, it's been so long since we got all these texture updates. What do these old ones look like? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Some of these are so clean. Look at that wither one. Yeah, that's beautiful. It can't just be me that thinks these old icons might even be more fire than the new ones. Those are clean, right? For our next up in our pre-release saga today, it's over to the King's Twitter. Yesterday, King B-Dogs was surveying the common folk, us peasants, about named items. Do you ever get attached to an item you give a custom name to in Minecraft? And if so, what made you attach to it? Then we have a follow-up, yes I am, which is so cryptic, and then a follow-up to the follow-up. How often do you lose these special items, either destroyed or lost? After taking a look at the changelog here, specifically some of the bugs being fixed that have to do with items here, I thought there was going to be some kind of update or change to name items. Maybe they you won't despawn or have a longer despawn timer. Or maybe alternatively, if you have a named item, maybe there's some way to relocate it, link a compass to it or something. I have no clue. But unfortunately, no changes in the snapshot with any of that. But let's think back, all the way back to Minecraft 1.19.3, I believe it was. In Minecraft 1.19.3, King B-Dog spent a lot of time updating and reorganizing the creative inventory. In this week's pre-release snapshot thing, we have an update here. The wither rose is now grouped with the other flowers. Also, the coral, the order of it is now the same. You start with blue, you start with blue, you start with blue, 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 and then blue. Then it goes on through the rest of the sequence there, whether it's alive or not. If the king and the devs are working on some kind of change to named items, what do you think it is, and what should it be? Also, of course, remember to send any feedback to the king over on Twitter on this tweet. I'll try and remember to link it. Thinking about it a little bit more though, whatever this change is, if it does indeed exist, it'll probably end up coming in Minecraft 1.20.1 or something. After all, the release of 1.20, we have a date. Yes. Oh yeah, no, that's actually incorrect information, yeah. There's still no release date, guys, but maybe May 30th or June 6th. It's safe to say Minecraft 1.20 pre-release 2 is one of the pre-releases of Minecraft 1.20. When it comes to updates inside of this W update, that's actually gonna just about do it. On our march towards the release of Minecraft 1.20, we have definitely marched a little bit closer. Today, I would like to send a big shout out to my patrons, Infamous MC, The Great Vegeta, and Steve M. Thank you so much for the support. Next up, if you're keeping your world or making a new one, I recommend checking out this one. It will help you out for 1.20. It's been me, Waddles. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.